Hello guys. So I played the Elden Ring network test, and these are my impressions from the first day. I only did invasions. I didn't do anything else. I only tried to just play the game and try to invade and get a feel of the PvP and the invasion mechanics. I don't care about 1v1. I don't care about duels. I only care about invasions. So. First things first, this is not DS3, this is not... those mechanics have nothing to do with Dark Souls 3. This game's PvP is closer to Bloodborne, to be perfectly honest. There are no combos, there's no Poise hyper armor mechanic. There is passive Poise, and we'll get to that later. Backstabs are nearly impossible. In order to get backstabbed, you have to either have committed on a move that leaves you immobile for a couple of seconds, or you have to really want to get backstabbed. Backstabs are nearly impossible, at least at the network test. Now, I'm not saying these things are bad, these things are good. I'm just saying them as it is. This is a different beast in its own. You have to understand, this game, I went into this game having the Dark Souls 3 mindset, expecting to see the same things that you see in Dark Souls 3, and, well, sometimes you do see the same things. You do see a connection error, as you see in Dark Souls 3, but mainly the game does not play as Dark Souls 3 regarding the PvP. You have... the jump, this is a new mechanic. This new mechanic has got iframes. Jump has iframes when you press it, like in roll, and you can actually spam jump, and you still get iframes if you spam jump. Although it's not difficult to get caught in the middle of a jump. So how does jump affect the PvP? Well, you get a couple of new moves. You can actually, instead of a roll attack, you can do a jumping attack. This is me trying to evade that spell. I thought I could evade it by jumping, but instead of jumping over the spell, I have to either roll it with the iframes or jump at the last moment with the iframes. So some hitboxes are weird, but generally the hitboxes are very, very precise, and you will see that as we go later. I am from Greece. I played in the EU servers, but I played with a lot of people. Many people have got the game and played in the EU network test from all over the world. So we got a lot of latency with some people, with others not so much, but it is to be expected. So I got experiences from all kinds of connections. So, alright, the first difference with what we know from Dark Souls 3. Two-hit combo. There is no two-hit combo here. At least when you get hit by one weapon. I mean, 1v1 there's no two-hit combo. But if you're 2v1, as you can see, it is very easy to get into a blender. And into the blender you cannot escape. And this is me trying to use the finger to teleport, but for some reason, for whatever reason, the game didn't teleport me. So yeah, it is very easy to get caught in a blender and you will not be able to roll. So as long as no combos, I call bullshit on that. If the gank catches you, you cannot roll away. Anyway, at least on PS4, because I'm playing on PS4, I don't know if if frame rate has got anything to do with that. Now, all the invasions I did were in the open world. I didn't do any invasion in a dungeon or in a map with many enemies. Most invasions are either some low-level enemies or the first boss that everybody encounters, like the rider guy. The open world boss, I mean. So, 1v1, it was... I cannot comment on 1v1, I only did a couple of 1v1s. I mostly did fight ganks. I wanted to see how invasions play out. Um, the party's passivity is well rewarded. You cannot go into this game playing like playing DS3. You have to use magic. You have to use ranged abilities. And this is why, as long as the game stands now, I think spears are the way to go, because everybody jumps around like goats. Like literally everybody's a frog. As you see, I missed that backstab because you cannot get backstabs. Everybody jumps around, the ranges vary, and in order to hit someone safely, you have to have some range. So I'm guessing spears like running in, hitting with a spear, and then running back are the way to go. At least that's what I believe like the game it is now at this moment. I also believe you need to have ranged attacks, and I do not mean the bow. I mean magic attacks, because as you see, the game gives you a lot of FP. In DS3, you do not get a lot of FP. Anyway, in Dark Souls, you do not get a lot of focus points. So this game gives you a lot of focus points from the get-go. That means that it encourages you to play with weapon arts, to play with magic, to play with spells, incantations, whatever it's called. So I do not think that pure physical builds are the way to go. I mean, look at my FP bar, and I only cast the weapon art once. You can cast it, I think, 10 times, and you can actually spam it. So my guess is that you have to implement both your attacks, your melee attacks, or whatever, physical attacks, and your magical attacks. And I get that, as I said, from the FP bar. So what I encountered so far, I mainly encountered ganks. My first invasions were near a roaming boss, but the roaming boss kept distracting the party and kept killing the party, and it wasn't really interesting for me. I just wanted to fight the enemies. I wanted to fight the other players and see how I would fare in a 1v2, 1v3, etc. I'm not interested in 1v1s, to be honest. I only played a couple. So when you're an invader, having no combos is difficult for you to deliver damage with only your weapon. So you have to either rely on roll catching your enemy or using magic in order to get, in order to hit them from far away. Unfortunately, I did not think of that earlier. This is me trying to parry to see if I can parry the stomp weapon art. I couldn't. Unfortunately, I did not think of that earlier. Then again, I can try it the next days. I'm gonna try with spears and magic. So the game so far, the open world invasions, are really interesting because you either get the party that wants to progress through the game and see the game, because we only have got a limited time, because this is a network test and you have to enjoy the game. But I encountered the occasional campers. There are campers, of course, and camping is, as long as you play without magic and without abilities, camping is very much encouraged by the game. So to be honest, I wasn't very prepared for that, but then again, these are my first impressions of the game. I just tried to play with something I know. Parries are 50-50. Parries are most of them are reactions, right? So you can actually reaction parry almost anything, at least in the network test. Or if you do not reaction parry, you can see, that was a backstab because I rolled into the enemy, into the grab box. Or if you cannot reaction parry, you can actually set a parry. But all of the attacks are slower. This game's attacks are slower than DS3. So you got slower attacks, you got longer recovery from the attacks, you got no hyper armor. It's really weird. It's something different. It's not that it's bad. I like it so far. I really like the game. It's a different beast. Like I said, it's another beast on its own. This is my impression that it is my impression that it's gonna be the first invasions are gonna be really difficult. You either gonna have to tire the party by running in with a spear and using your magic and stuff, I mean, using a great sword doesn't seem like a good idea in hindsight, because I have to get really close to the party. It's impossible to get backstabs, and at least as far as I can see right now, parries can be done on slow moves like the R2 that I did. So yeah, it's something like 50-50 right now. As you can see, this is not the most interesting fight to watch. This is me trying to embarrass myself by getting parried. This is me trying to kill the host, kill the 50-50 host before the phantom deals with the enemies. And oh yeah, as you can see, Estes cancel works. They did not fix that, unfortunately. And moveset swap works, and you can actually do a lot of stuff that you could do in DS3. You can do a ravioli from an idle stance on the PS4 without having the PS4 Pro, which means the game is optimized, and they did a really good job at optimizing it. The footage that you see is not the best, is not at the best quality, because I streamed the game on my PC in order to record it, because PS4 does not let you record it. And anyways, gameplay-wise, Invasions, you can either roll cuts if you're gonna play like DS3, or you can actually use your abilities too. You can roll in, you can jump in, you can try to bait your opponent into doing something silly, I guess. But mostly it's using your abilities and your magic. Like, if I didn't have this attack, I don't know what I would have done with that 50-50 host. So yeah, anyway. Most of the time in open world invasions, you'll get chased down by an aggressive party, or they're gonna camp. And that's why I believe you need to have your magic, because If there's 3 people chasing you and you do not have anything to get some cover or to escape, you can only use your finger to teleport or whatever there is. This is actually getting pretty hard to escape. So you either have to have some magic for yourself in order to hit them from afar, or you're gonna have to rely to your enemies. But when the map is cleared and you do not have enemies, the only option you're left is playing the waiting game. And given that this was a network test and I did not have the time to play the network game, you're gonna see me running like an idiot into the party. Because what I wanted mostly to see was how invasions are being played and not winning those invasions. So if you see me getting my ass kicked, please do not think ill of me. The abilities I've seen so far. I've only used a couple of abilities. I did not use too much because I wanted to see how the game, how invasions are being played. I didn't want to explore too much because I don't want to spoil the game for me. Case in point, now you're gonna see how party with a caster and someone chasing you down can be very effective. Watch this. I get stun locked by the hit, the horse chases me down, I get hit again, and that's how you can very easily lose health. They were never gonna get hit by that attack because they've seen it before, so you have to use tricks that you haven't used before or they haven't seen before, or you either have to have some range in order to hit them. Jumping in seemed like a good option at the time, but I don't think it is wise to use it when you're being surrounded by many enemies. Jumping in, I mostly used it to surprise my enemies, my passive enemies that were staying with a shield there. If I had some spells that could cover some range now, I would be able to pressure them. But like I said, unfortunately I went into this game like I was playing DS3, so I did not have anything to actually make them progress. So we played the waiting game, and I actually went towards the enemies to see if they will follow me, and I noticed that this is actually like the crystal lizards in DS3. This little bug here. So yeah, anyways, this is my fault. This was my fault because I did not take into account that this is an open world game. So I had just gotten a bow, and it was my idea to try and attack them with the bow. I was trying to change my armor in order to have a mid-roll because I could not carry everything on me. Trying to attack them with the bow seemed like a good idea, but it wasn't. The range of the bow, of this bow at least, isn't that much, isn't that good. The only way, as you can see, to hit someone with a greatsword is if they run into you. You cannot poise through if you don't have hyper armor, if you do not have poise. So you cannot poise any attacks of your enemies, so the only way to get some attacks in is to have them run into you. So it was most attacks I got with the greatsword was turn and burn. So it didn't have a lot of technique. You may have guessed already, this game does, on the first look of this game, it does not involve a lot of technique. Like in DS3, that you have many ways to do combos and do roll catches and stuff. First of all, this is the first day, okay? So give me a break. But as a first, when you first see this game, these invasions, you do not think of a lot of techniques to pressure them, and that may very be the case. But I honestly believe that. You have to explore the world and find spells, find abilities that will help you hit someone that is far away from you. Because the only way that you can actually pressure the party to come is to hit someone that is far away from you. So if I had, I'm guessing, this is just a guess. I'll see more tomorrow morning on the next network test session. But my guess is that you have to have a lot of options to attack the party. That was a nice ambush. I never saw him getting into that bush, now that I think of it. This was my very first parry. And I was very excited because I was trying for a parry all this time. I think that was a weapon art, and I don't know if you can parry that. I did not do much testing. I tried to do some testing with. I promised you testing with Peculiar Onion and Mook, and we actually did some testing. We tested the combos. We tested some cancels. We did do some testing, but. Afterwards, most of the guys wanted to explore the game, and I wanted to get some invasions in. I did not want to do a lot of 1v1. There's more skilled players than me that can do. That was my second party. There are players that are more skilled than me and know way more about the game than me that can test stuff. I think G9 did a lot of tests. On moveset swapping, like moveset swap is a thing. As you saw, Estes cancel is a thing. Block cancelling, I think, is a thing. So there's some stuff that has been carried over by the previous version of the engine, but there's also some new stuff. So what I think of the PvP so far? Well, most of my experiences were invasions, and given that I did not have the health to deal with most of the parties, I only had 2 heals because you get like 4 flasks of whatever they're called, and they get split in half when you invade or when you're a phantom. So I put everything on health, and I only had 2 health. That was me trying to go for a third party, and I only had 2 heals. I did not explore to get the alchemy recipe. These are the NPCs making fun of me. I don't know why they came right now. I did not have the recipes to make another heals, and I didn't actually want to make another heal. I only wanted to do some invasions with what I had. My first class was actually not this one, but the one with the axe, the battle axe. And it was very interesting, and I think it would be a better class than this one, but I'm a very big fan of the bastard sword since Dark Souls 1, and I really wanted to try this one. Plus, this class, everybody says that is most close to what we know from Dark Souls, so that's why I tried to play this class. This is a 1v1 with a host. This is how most of my 1v1s went. As you see, I can parry spam and not get backstabbed that easily, especially if the host is locked onto me. If they weren't locked, they could go for the shoulder backstab, as my Greek invaders call it, like the pivot backstab, but you do not actually go behind the back of your enemy, you grab him from the shoulder, because this is a thing here. All other backstabs have been nerfed. That was a jump dodge, as you saw. All other backstabs have been nerfed. It's not that easy to get a backstab, like I said before. As you see, my opponent here mostly backtracks, and I'm on the aggressive. He mostly backtracks and makes use of his shield and his awesome spells. You see that he's got spells that can cover a lot of distance, and I think that's pretty useful to have. So regarding the depth, I don't know how much depth the PvP has got right now, or how much depth, I mean, comparing it to DS3 depth, it's not that it does not have depth. I think it has a lot of depth, but it does not have the DS3 mechanics, like doing combos, doing roll catches and stuff. You can do roll catches here, but if there are no combos, after a while people are gonna get wise and nobody's gonna get roll caught. They're gonna learn about the roll catches. So you have to use a lot of tools in order to to confuse your opponents. Like after a great sword R1, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna do another R1 to roll cuts them, or are you gonna do an R2? Are you gonna use your weapon art or a spell or something? As you can see, now I've got some poise on this character, and I was trying to roll, but I got hit twice because I got poise broken, and I think it's, I'm not sure. When you get poise broken, it lasts just a bit longer for you to get for the enemy to get a second hit in, and when you're fighting ganks, it's very easy for them to get a second hit in. This is the invasion. This is the invasion that I told you that I did near the roaming boss, and it's very useful to have an enemy like. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Do you see that you cannot escape? Most of those I tried to escape. After I got hit, I started pressing circle like a madman in order to roll, but it didn't work. You're gonna see a lot of invasions near this boss. I didn't want to do that, to be honest. I wanted to invade all over the map. I wanted to face a party that didn't have a bigger distraction than me. So I tried to do. I got my face put into the ground, to be honest. I didn't get much. I didn't get many wins. I did not feel bad about that. You know, early days. I did not get many wins, but I had a lot of fun. This game is a lot of fun, and the open world aspect is a lot of fun. Like imagine exploring the game and suddenly getting invaded. I didn't try to do any dungeon invasions because I was mostly interested in the open world invasion possibility. And as I see it right now, it is. I don't think it's people are gonna get bored of it, because I've heard some people say that not because the game does not have combos and stuff, that people are gonna leave and gonna get bored. But I think we're looking at it the wrong way. I think that given that this is a different game, you have to play differently. And my opinion is that you have to adapt, right? You cannot go into this game playing it like you're gonna play DS3. Like I did, which was a big mistake, right? Because the first thing this game tells you to make you think, to make you understand that this is not DS3, it gives you the bastard sword on the DS3 build, right? Because this is a DS3 build. It gives you the bastard sword, right? And on it, it does not have. I mean, the weapon has the default weapon art, which is stomp, and if you press R2, you can. That's a backstab. That's how you can get backstab. If you commit to an attack that leaves you, you know, standing. The first weapon that on the DS3 that the game gives you is the bastard sword, and the bastard sword, it has an Ash of War on it, which is like the slotted weapon art, a weapon art that you can put into the sword. It does not come with the default weapon art. It does have the default weapon art if you take out the slotted weapon art, but it gives you the Thunderbolt, and it gives you that weapon art to tell you that you have to have ranged options. That's why I believe it gives you that thing. If it was a Dark Souls game, it wouldn't give you that weapon art. It would give you a weapon art like something like a Mega Stomp or something like that. But it gives you a ranged attack in order to tell you that, you know, man, this is not DS3. You have to have ranged options. How cool was that escape? I tried to ambush them, but as you'll see, it did not go as expected. So it gives you the Thunderbolt weapon art in order to tell you that you have to have ranged options. And I only understood that after the demo ended, after the network session ended. But seeing my footage right now, because before recording the video, I sat down and saw all of my footage. I understood that what I lacked in this build was ranged options, And that's why I keep saying all throughout this video, I keep spamming you and saying the same thing. You have to have ranged options. Plus, I think that I'm not saying that great swords are bad or something. I'm saying that as an invader, I want to try the spears because I think it's a better option to actually be able to run in and attack the enemies and then get away in order to avoid getting your ass kicked. Because that's what happened to me throughout all these invasions. Most of the damage I did and most of the hits I landed were on enemies that were running mindlessly towards me, or that were getting guards broken and I just jumped into them. That's what you hear is Patches. Patches is my parakeet, you know, a small parrot, a budgie, and his name is Patches. And anyway, sorry about that. So as you see, I kept spamming the ranged attack, and that's when I realized that I have to make use of the ranged attacks and that I have to rely on more abilities other than the normal ones, you know, the generic Dark Souls ones. That was that was my impression, at least. Okay, now that I think that I've convinced you that you need to use both your abilities, I want to talk about the verticality aspect. From Software has experimented with verticality since Demon Souls, and the only way they experimented with verticality thus far was using plunge attacks, and I can't say these were quite useful and interesting, but right now they stepped up their game with the jumping option, because when the terrain is interesting and it has rocks, it has crevices, it has hills, you can actually take advantage of that verticality, and you're gonna see that. Then again, when you're fighting a party of 3 people, if it wasn't for that roaming boss right now, I wouldn't have a chance to beat them, because when you're getting chased by 3 people, it's very, very difficult to actually escape them, because somebody's gonna spam you Thunderbolt, another one is gonna run behind you, and another one is gonna be throwing some spells at you. So on an open world, it's really hard to actually fight 3 people without a distraction. And I want to experiment more on that. God, I love this ability. Unfortunately, it does not have a lot of range, and I need to use some range. Like I said, the only way I got some victories, some easy victories, was to have the party distracted, because as you see, it's very easy for them to use their spells and weapon arts and actually be a problem to you. Now, regarding roll catching, I think as we explore the game some more, we're gonna find ways to actually deliver damage continuously instead of combos. We're gonna find roll catching abilities. We're definitely gonna figure this out. I'm sure of that. And as you see, I did not see my host. I lost the host. I did not see them on the compass. I tried to use the finger, and for whatever reason, it puts me close to where I was. I think, was it this one? I got a lot of loading times due to being a PS4 and not a PS5. PS5s have got SSD. Feels bad, but yeah, I got pretty close to the host again, to where I was, and the host died. I don't know, but for whatever reason, it doesn't show you the host when you're fighting them, or when they're really, really close to you. It does not show you the host on the compass. Anyways. The impression I got from the fights was that this game's PvP is closer to Bloodborne than to DS3, because if you remember from Bloodborne, you can get phantom hits, but do not deal damage. Like you hit the enemy at the time they roll, and you get a hit feedback, like you see blood, but you do not actually hit them. That's what I got, and as you see, I did an R2 on that host, and he rolled after my attack landed on them, and this usually happens to Bloodborne. And that's what this game's PvP reminded me of, which is, for me, is a good thing. At least I'm a DS3 vet. I'm actually a DS vet from the very first game, as you know. But that was a Poise. You saw him hitting me a second time, and I actually poised it. And how cool was that? Just how cool was that? And right now the host gave up. So yeah, I think this game's PvP is closer to Bloodborne, and I like it. There's no hyper armor though. In order to use hyper armor, you need to have a weapon art that does have hyper armor, like the bastard sword's default weapon art, not the slotted in weapon art, like the stomp, and it calls it step in or something. Now this is me playing with Mook. He does not know what this does. He jumped right in. As you see, we're still trying to play it like DS3, and it's got depth. I do think that it has depth, but I like the fact that there are no combos. Unpopular opinion. Unpopular opinion. I like the fact that there are no combos. Most people will think that it's just pressing an R1 and then rolling away. Sure, you can play like that. I think you can play like that, but I think mostly you're gonna have to rely on mix-ups. And I'm not sure just yet what kinds of mix-ups, but I think we're gonna find them, and I'm very optimistic. That's what I get from the game, at least. I'm really optimistic about this game's PvP. Now, my impression with the open world invasions, my impression was that the camping ganks are unbeatable if you try to play the game like you're playing DS3. But if you've watched any video from G9 or any stream of his, you'll see that he has got ways to deal with camping ganks, like use a tailbone spear to knock them over, using poison and stuff. And it's not that G9 does that, but only G9 does that, but he's the most popular and the best DS3 player. So it's, I'm guessing that you guys know of him, if you know of me. So my impression is that you have to use your abilities for ganks that are camping or that are really passive. As you saw, I got hit by that because I had Poise, and I did not think to roll that first hit when I had Poise. It's hard to keep track of your Poise health when you have Poise. That's why I think it would be preferable to not have any Poise at all and just roll them. Because when you have Poise, you get hit by the first hit and then you can roll away or jump away or move away, whatever. But if you do not do that, if you do not keep track of your Poise health, you're gonna feel like an idiot, because you're gonna think like, oh man, I could actually roll away. So to me, it seems, I don't know, it seems very unreliable to have Poise. That's what I think of, at least right now. Who knows? I'm not the smartest person around, so someone might keep track of their Poise, but I do not, to be honest. That was some disgusting hitbox in DS3. That would be a hit in DS3. What are you doing, you Itanimura? But anyways, I had a lot of fun. I really did have a lot of fun. And we experimented a lot with my friends. We saw some really interesting stuff. I do not want to spoil anything for you guys. I only want to show you PvP. I do not want to spoil the exploration of the game. And to be honest, I've shown you too much already. but the fights are awesome. The fights are epic, actually. That's what I think. Most people who come from DS3 and expect to see a DS3 evolution may not like them, but I think it's just epic to be able to jump into those enemies. Did you see that? How cool was that? There's plenty of abilities and plenty of ways to already. I mean, we've only seen like 5% of the game, like not even 5%. I don't know, and the gameplay is already so cool and so interesting and so engaging, and the world is so interesting and engaging. And I think this game is here to stay. I really do think that, because the scale of the game alone, FromSoft is not gonna let it die. It's not gonna let us down. I don't think they're gonna let PvP die. I think they're gonna take into account our opinions and what we think, but I mostly think that we need to respect their vision as developers. See how this fight can be turned around when you have one roaming boss. I think we have to respect their vision as developers and not expect to play a DS3, but oh shit, the fight did not turn around. As you saw, I got caught into the blender, and I was trying to roll the whole time, and I couldn't. I just couldn't roll away. So yeah, if anyone from FromSoft is watching this, please give some iframes after you get hit. I don't know, after 10 times you get hit in less than 2 seconds. Please give some iframes for us to roll away. I don't know if many people experience this blender. I don't know how many people try to do 3v1s. And as far as I experienced, blenders were very hardly avoidable. You cannot avoid getting blendered. So regardless of what we see, regardless of things that we may not like, you cannot look at this and say that this is not epic. You cannot look at this and say that this is not cool. You're fighting in an open world with the game mechanics that are designed to be played in an open world. And I'm doing the best I can. I'm coming from DS3. I'm coming with a very closed mindset, and I know that I'm not one of the best players around. But as I see it so far, this is simply epic. I cannot describe it in any other way. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. I really had a lot of fun on my first session, and I think as we play the other sessions too, we're gonna get a better glimpse of the game's depth and how it is supposed to be played, how it was designed to be played. It's quite fast-paced, actually. Although the animations are slow, the game is indeed fast-paced. And because there are so many abilities that everybody can use, and you have to take into account so many factors like the terrain, the active frames of your enemies, the wind-up frames, the recovery frames. You have to take so many factors into account. I do think that the combat is really fast-paced and interesting, and it has a lot of depth. I'm not being apologetic of Elden Ring. I'm not being a fanboy right now, although, like most of you, I am a From Software fanboy. But I'm being really optimistic right now. From what I've seen so far, from what all of my friends have seen so far, this does have a lot of potential. Guys, this does have a lot of potential. And I do think this is going to be one of the best games, if not the best, FromSoft game we've played. And I do believe that the change in scenery and the change in aesthetics and in feeling that they did, I support it. I mean, Dark Souls games are dark fantasy games, and usually dark fantasy games are I don't know how familiar you are with Dungeons and Dragons, but in D&D there's low fantasy, medium fantasy, and high fantasy. Elden Ring is high fantasy, and what you call high fantasy is something like this, like everybody has got magic abilities, everybody can do extraordinary things like jump 2 meters high and plant the enemies, and this is high fantasy. In Dark Souls was a more grounded game. You had to stay on your feet, you had to block. It was more focused on technical combat, where in Elden Ring it's more focused on spectacular things like throwing thunders and lightning bolts and magic spells and swords and using abilities that are extraordinary. And the whole world is magical. Everything is bright, everything has got bright colors, everything is the depression aspect, like in Dark Souls, with the undead and the curse and stuff, is not so present. I mean, you get enemies that are acting like hollows, I guess, but you do not get that dark fantasy and that Fallout feeling. Like Dark Souls is a game that takes place after a disaster, right? It's a post-apocalyptic game. So it's not expected to have a lot of fanfare and a lot of what a nice Volgats. It's not a game that's expected to have a lot of high fantasy, but this one you see glimpses of magic everywhere. Like you see that bonfire thingy, whatever it's called, grace. You see, magic particles around it guiding your way and stuff, and it's something that you did not see that in previous games. And I like this. I like this step. I really do like this step. I think it's time we got something more, not happy. I don't want to say happy. I think it's time we got something more light-hearted regarding the aesthetics. More of a fantasy type of game. So yeah, I know that some people may be troubled. I've watched streams from other people about this game, and I know that most of the techniques are either nerfed or are non-present. I know some things are not fixed, like the Estes glitch, and I think that they will be able to fix it, to be honest. But I do not feel disappointed at all. I really think that this has the potential to be something great, and I'm really excited about February. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on doing invasions. I'm gonna keep recording. I'm not gonna explore that much. I'm just gonna explore to get some abilities, some ranged abilities to use in invasions. I'm never gonna show you too many spoilers. I don't want to spoil anything from you. All I'm gonna show you is some combat, some PvP and invasion, nothing more. And because I'm mostly interested to see how invasions are being played. Now, regarding some things you guys asked me, there are no true combos as far as I know. As far as I've seen, there are no true combos. Roll catches and parries work on a different timing than DS3. The attacks are different than DS3, so the spear running attack is not what you would expect from a DS3. These spear running attacks are different. There are cancel recovery. There are ways to cancel recovery frames. You can cancel by blocking. You can cancel by jumping. You can cancel by rolling. There are ways to cancel. Not too much, but there are ways. Attacking while jumping will result in there. As far as I can see, there are two ways of attacking while jumping, be it R1 or R2. Either you press it as soon as you jump and it will do a jump attack, or you press it mid-jump and it will do a normal attack when you land. The animations will blend smoothly whether you're on air or on ground. The hitboxes are very precise, are really precise, and I don't think they're as wide as they were in DS3, but I think they're as long as they were in DS3. As an example of a hitbox, you will see a plunge attack right now. Hitbox porn. So yeah, nothing so far seemed broken. Only that you have to approach this game differently, and you shouldn't approach it like a DS3. So yeah, I'm gonna play some more these following days, and I'm gonna keep you guys posted on of my impressions. And thank you for watching so far, if you did watch so far, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.